Hello YouTube and welcome to another episode of Anna's Journey to the End. This time we are once again in a creative mode copy of my world because we have once again done a lot of modifications. So we are going to go back to first person and we will take you around and show you what we've gotten. As you can see, we have all of our cobblestone walls transitioned over to the new stone bricks. Quite happy with that. In addition, sorry about that. In addition, we have our last job site block, hopefully. Nope, not yet. We still have a baby villager in there. That will be our last job site block. I don't know that I need to fix that because this isn't the actual world. But that will be our tanner once they get old enough. You can escape, whatever. Okay, we have also finished our lighthouse, and I will show how I went about building this. But to give you a little bit of a hint, I'm trying to remember what the command is. Okay. Let's see, where's the sun? The sun is ways up. I think you'll see it when we get in there. I have a lighthouse that actually lights up. So it's got some redstone mechanics in there that I've got when I do the weekly recap that will show you what's going on. And we've done pretty good at leveling up our villagers here. No, Sandy is the one that still does not have any magic books, not me. I think it's Vic. Nope, that's Bane of Arthropods. Oh, we've got Marco here, who has Unbreaking 3, so that's one less of the scrolls that I need to get to. So, I still don't have another mending librarian. Still working on that, but it is what it is. Let's go back down and show you what I've done inside of the base. Just not much. We have done a little bit more exploration. At this point, you'll see the rest of this map on this week's episode, and actually this portion over here will be next week's episode. But I've been doing some since I've been editing the previous videos, so that's why some is explored already. And as you can see, we have labeled almost all of our chests with what's in there. So the ones that are empty, either I only have one of whatever is in there, or I haven't quite figured out what I want to do for that, or they're empty. But as you can see, we've got all of our blocks done. So it's been a mostly good week. I had one very, very, very dumb moment where I got distracted and did something stupid, which will be at the end of this week's recap. But that is it for now, so we will take you to the recap. And where did my eyes go? There they are. So we're going to start off this week. I don't know if you've watched last week's yet. If you've not, there was basically a rogue villager somewhere because my cleric was not sleeping in the bed that was in their house. So I used the creative world that I'd had loaded up to take you guys through, and I basically did a Marco Polo kind of thing with running, looking for this villager here, using the nearby entity command, until I found somebody named Villager, because I've renamed all of my villagers, and once I'd found about where he was at, I loaded back into the survival world, and I went about trying to take out this little nitwit here, who appeared to be very resilient, because he kept on trying to get out of whatever method I was using to try to kill him. He was a very annoying fellow. While we kind of watched some of this, of me trying to push him into the water, or trying to trap him in one point or another, you will notice that I don't have my webcam up. This is another one of those weeks where I am not up to doing any... This is one of those points that he escaped. Any of my makeup. I'm kind of wondering if I'm going to continue doing that. I do like the way the makeup looks because it helps feminize my face a little bit more, and I am very self-conscious of that. Probably more so that than I am with my voice. Mostly because the whole purpose of this is to get better at my voice. But here he is once again, avoiding my attempts to drown him. Ran out of blocks. And he'd already escaped again. This guy was just a lot of trouble. But I've noticed nitwits usually are. I really hate this particular villager job. And I say job with air quotes around it because, as you will probably know, they do absolutely nothing. And so they're taking up a bed that could be used with something else. They wander around all over the place, they get in the way. But I don't want to just kill him outright, because that's, even though none of the other villagers are going to see it, they're going to know that I killed this nitwit. So I have to figure out some way to get him to basically kill himself through suffocation or lava. And I think this is about the point where I'm like, well, let me go see if I can go grab some lava nearby. Where I did at some point. Only to find out that I did not yet have a bucket. Did I get him down there at this point? Oh, that's when I finally got him down that hole. This is where, like, well, maybe I'll just, pour some lava on top of old dude. Not only would the lava, turn into a brick and possibly suffocate him, he might also just die from the fire of the lava. Needless to say, that didn't work. I was about ready to break a block and see if water would go down. Then I'm like, nope, he might escape. Is this where I was at the point where I was trying to get a block above him even? Like, force him down? Nope. He was a stubborn little bastard. And I'm realizing now as I'm narrating this that I probably spent way more time on this than I needed to. But for whatever reason, it gave me a bit of humor about the whole process. This is where I start trying to hunt down for lava, go down a ways, realize I don't have any torches, nor do I have a bucket. So I'm like, well, maybe just a little bit more. Do I hear lava anywhere? I'm not hearing any lava anywhere. And finally I'm like, okay, let's go find another way. And I think, well, okay, I wanted to suffocate this guy. I knew when I hopped down into the water last time, I had found some gravel down there. So, how about we suffocate him with gravel? And that's pretty much what I just did. Came down here, grabbed some gravel. Figured out how to try to get a wall around this guy so that he wasn't going to escape again, because I was seriously worried that he was going to do so. Grab a third piece of gravel just to be safe. Trying to push him back to get him in there, and he's even fighting me basically to his last little breath. I think this guy knew what was up. I think he knew he did not have much longer in this world. He had angered the evil god that rules their land, and yeah, he made this as difficult as he could on me. But he is finally trapped, and I am very glad I ended up getting the 3 things of, like, oh, maybe he will just drown. He wasn't drowning, he was starting to come back up, and this is where we dropped the next. And there he is. At this point, that was a very welcome sound, and that was an even better one. After the villager was gone, we decided to go out and explore some of the area we'd been at. I'd found a temple in one of my other journeys, and I also had a treasure map that I wanted to go see what I could find at those locations. Still hoping to get a couple more mending books. So, trying to dig out the top of this temple. And this is probably the most buried one of these desert temples I've ever found. I was basically trying to contour out to find, and there it was, that central hole. And then we hopped down, put some torches up, and started to work about getting down to the bottom. We harvested, as you can see, the 9 TNT underneath, just like I did in the last one, and we raided this for everything we could get out of it. I even took the chests, and they made up some more of the chests that are in my storage area. To be honest, there wasn't a whole lot that was really all that great here. There's a Power 1 book, was I think the only magic book here. But it did get me some more gunpowder, got me some gold blocks, and another golden apple. I'm not quite up yet for fighting the Ender Dragon, but we're getting there. I'm debating whether or not I'm going to go for netherite before I take on the Ender Dragon, or not. We'll see as the time comes. And that was just me realizing that I had not actually dropped the mic and putting the mic down, even though I don't think I talked any of the rest of this particular bit. But I wanted to be ready just in case I found something cool, of which I didn't. So as you can see, pretty much a whole lot of nothing at this desert temple, other than the TNT and gunpowder, which I was thankful for. After that, we headed off to explore for the sunken treasure. We dug down, we found it, and the treasure was a lot better. Got 3 diamonds out of it, and another piece of TNT, and another music disc. I think I'm probably going to use one of these diamonds to build a music box for my home. As at this point in time, I've got, I think, 3 music discs to be able to play. We'll see how it turns out, but I thought that they were pretty cool, and I've enjoyed it. I might try to get a parrot so that I can, have my parrots dancing to the music. I think that would be fun to put in my base, but we'll find out. I find it humorous as I was editing this, because I had those 2 sets of torches there that I could have stacked up, and it would have saved me some inventory space. But for whatever reason, I could not catch. I don't know how many times I was looking at this, how can I make room for this thing that I want to grab out of this chest? And I couldn't. And I had the torches right there. But, looking at this at hindsight is pretty good. So we continued on with some exploration, and I finally remembered that I'd made this darn spine class for being able to look out and explore from a distance to see where I wanted to go. This is probably one of the first times since I've done it, since I've made it, that I've actually used it for that purpose. And it did me in some good stead, because I thought I'd seen a village over there, And this kind of confirmed it. Yep. So, I explored this village. It had a decent amount of neat stuff in it. Only one villager. But this village was also like some blocks had come in and explored. Like, covered that doorway in the library. They went out over this roof over here. It was kind of weird. And that's kind of why I left this. Like, you see that building there is like halfway in the hill. There was also a ruined portal that I found over here, which, as you know, I'm looking for cracked obsidian. So, after I got done searching the village, I headed over that way. There was just one block of coal there. I don't know that I'd ever seen that before. Unfortunately, there was also only one block of crying obsidian. We did grab the rest of the blocks of obsidian, and I finally made an ender chest. And lastly, I grabbed the gold block at the top. I moved on. I found another snow village. This one had a wandering trader that had small drip leaves in it. I wanted those small drip leaves, so I checked around. I found a cleric that offered trades for rotten flesh. So I headed out here, killed some drowned, got another trident, and collected enough rotten flesh to make the trades. Once we had our amount, we went to him. We got our 1 emerald, which we figured was all we were going to need. And we hurried back, hoping that the trader was still going to be there. He was. And we got our drip leaf. That is going to be part of my garden. I love drip leaves. Those things are a lot of fun. After exploring in the overworld, I decided it was time to get back to upgrading the village. I needed some glowstone to make redstone lamps for my lighthouse, so I did some exploration in the nether. I was also hoping to find either a bastion remnant that had some nether wart in it or another nether fortress. Unfortunately, I was unable to find either of those. I did, however, find a massive trove of quartz crystals. I think I ended up at the end of this run with like 5 stacks of quartz crystals. So I was pretty happy with that. While I was gathering these up, this little ghast here decided to line themselves up perfectly for a nice arrow shot and gave me another thing of gunpowder. I later found a soul sand beach here on one of the lava lakes, and sat there and collected up a stack's worth of soul sand. I think this is actually some of the first soul sand that I have collected since being in the nether. I did find some that was or see some that was underneath the bastion remnant that I did for last week's episode, but I haven't really felt like going back there. So, with our supplies gathered, we started to build our light tower. So we added in a daylight sensor, and we put that at the top of our roof. It is down below some of the stairs, so that allows it to light up a little bit before sundown, and then it goes out a little bit after. And I kind of like that effect. So after I had the daylight sensor and I set it to become a nighttime sensor, I set about doing some rows of redstone lamps here. My original goal was to have 3. Unfortunately, that didn't quite work out, and you'll kind of see that later in the recap here. So, we were playing around with how to do this, and originally I was hoping I could just get a piston to drop this redstone block down and it would light up all of them. Unfortunately, it did not. So I started putting some redstone dust, seeing if I could connect the lamps and get it to work that way. But redstone dust only works if the power is going down to a certain extent. So this was not successful, but putting it there was. So we did a little bit of a redesign. And it was already dark, so we went down, put our sticky piston in place, put a redstone block down, and now the first 2 rows lit up. Before I made the decision on whether or not I was going to keep those or not, I wanted to go out and take a look at it. So we went outside to see what it looked like lit up. As you'll see, I still have the one little fox that had wandered into a boat with me. Got rescued from the deep ocean. Okay. After that, I did some fishing, and I had a bow. So, my wife had been talking to me when I went to go grab it. I'd intended to wipe out.
I just accidentally wiped out my bow, trying to wipe
Yep.
out a different bow.
Yep, I went to go do this one, and instead took out the Punisher. So I had 38 levels. I have all of the other bows from fishing that I'd put in the chest here. And so we gathered them up, and I pretty much said goodbye to all of those levels. We made sure we threw away this one that had the curse of vanishing, because I did not want to mess that up again. And we tracked down to what we had that had the spells that we needed. So we got some unbreaking, some mending, some punch 2, and some flame. And this is pretty much the method that I went about to make the original Punisher. And it's one of the reasons why I like fishing, because you're going to end up with a lot of it. This was a moment where I was like, what am I doing? Why did I just take this to the grindstone? You can hear my wife talking in the background. We've also got a show on. Yep. So. Went through. And thankfully, I don't think adding it to a bow that was already named Punisher took any additional levels, which was kind of nice. I'm not really certain with all of the enchantments I put on it, but we brought ourselves back up to our full bow. So Punisher was restored, and I was back down to 1 level. And that pretty much finished out my week. Okay, so as you can see, it was a busy week. I don't have much of the construction that was done on there. You got to see that in the intro, but it has been kind of a fun week. I've enjoyed the little bit of exploring that I've done, and I have managed to knock out at least 2 of my goals up there. I think next week we are going to focus on the one that is behind me. Oh, nope. We're going to focus on finding nether wart. I I really want to do that. I think I'm going to take down one of the many underwater ocean monuments that I've found. And to do that, I need potions of water breathing, at least to start. After I take down the first one and I can get myself some prismarine, that'll make taking on any of the other ones that I would like to do much, much, much easier. Because I'll be able to build a conduit on top of it, and then take it down without having to worry about suffocating. So, until next time, you all have an excellent day.